call the board meeting to order. And the first thing is pledge allegiance. Tom Ishmael will lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Allen. Audrey. Here. Guerrero. Here. Dow.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Cross.
Here.
Gillen. Here. Hernandez.
Here.
O'Shea.
Here.
Ishmael.
Here.
Zarek.
Here.
Hunter.
Here.
Lewis. Martin.
Here.
Molina.
Present.
Sanchez. Sheffield. Silva.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Sherry.
Present.
Thomas. Here. Wigman. Winnie.
Here.
And we have one speak person signed up to speak, and that would be Robert Audrey. Mr. Audrey, you want to come to the podium? You're limited to 3 minutes.
My name is Robert Audrey. I am a resident of Gilbert's, Illinois. I have stood before you 4 times. About 1 year ago, we were here, and since that time, my son's residence was bulldozed. That family was bulldozed. And I would only ask, as the board of the Forest Preserve, is this really how you want to treat your citizens, that you will bulldoze them and their property and their families? I would say that to the board, I think you are like me. You're a citizen of this Kane County. So, to give you an update, my son, James, age 30, is very despondent, and I don't know how bad that will get. I am working hard. His little daughter, Peyton, age 7, is a fighter. You may have bulldozed her home and her playroom, but you didn't bulldoze her heart. She is now in the Hampshire Catholic private school as a resident of Wheaton College. It's a wonderful school, and she loves going there and wearing the uniform because it's part of her belonging. And now she's in the running club. So Peyton is doing fine. And after school, she comes over to Rotec and has decided that she wants to take over the office at age 8. And now she's answering the phone and making copies. So you might like to see that picture close up. My company, Rotec, is having a banner year. We are doing work on the biggest hydro project in the world for equipment that I have invented, perfected, and manufacture in Hampshire, Kane County. We are doing work in Mexico, South America, Africa, Morocco, and India. So Rotec is doing fine. Speaking personally, I celebrated my 80th birthday on August 13th, and it happened to coincide with the national championship for the triathlon. And I am proud to say that this year I got 3 first place and 3rd place in the nation. So I have enough fight to do that, even for fun. I would only ask, I know you have a master plan, but that plan has to protect the citizens of Kane County that you people serve. We all pledge allegiance to the flag with liberty and justice for all. There is a difference between justice and what legally you can do. If your Pledge of Allegiance says that the Forest Preserve has a master plan and it will do everything it can legally do, and if necessary, bulldoze a few residents, I don't think that's where you as the board want to be. On the card, it said that I could write more comments to you, so I will be writing to each one of you. As you may know, we filed the lawsuit that I told you I was going to file in federal court. I'm looking for board members who either agree with me or explain to me why I'm wrong. Thank you very much. These two pictures I will leave if you'd like to look at them. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the presentation and approval of the minutes for September 12th. Mr. Dahl moves, Mr. Frost seconds. Is there discussion on those minutes? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. They're approved. Presentation and approval of bills for September 2017. Barb Winnicki moves, Susan Starrett seconds. Is there anything you'd like to discuss on that? Seeing none, we're ready to go.
Palmer? Yes. Guerrero? Yes. Dahl?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Gillum? Yes. Hernandez? Yes. Boucher?
Yes.
Ishmael?
Yes.
Nazari?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Molina? Yes. Silva? Yes. Smith?
Yes.
Sarah? Yes. Thomas? Yes. Lee? Yes.
The motion to approve the bills is approved. Now, one of our more pleasant things of the morning will be a presentation of a monetary donation from Nightcore Gas for restoration project in cooperation with the Forest Preserve of DuPage County. Mr. Eric Knighty is going to present it, and R.N. Ben Hammerford is going to accept.
Right. Just for a little background, we do have some representatives from Nightcore here today as well. They've been doing some expansion or improvements rather on their Dubuque line, which had impacts on our Hampshire Forest Preserve as well as the Burnage Forest Preserve. We've been working with Nightcore and IDNR on every step of this process, and they've been great to help minimize some of the impact to any of the natural areas. As part of this, they needed to receive an incidental take authorization from the IDNR or an ITA. This mitigation helped them receive that authorization so that if they ran into an endangered species throughout the course of the project, they'd be able to handle it appropriately working with us. So there were 4 species that had potential impacts for this project. 2 birds, one a common gallinule, one was a yellow-headed blackbird, and a Blanding's turtle, which this board has heard a lot about. Those impacts are going to be handled with a separate mitigation on Forest Preserve District property to the tune of about $150,000. The 4th species that had some potential impacts from this project was the slipper shell mussel. It's a freshwater mussel that occurs in Tyler Creek and some of our other streams in Kane County. Trying to find a way to mitigate for those impacts, we had to get a little more creative, and that's why we're working with the DuPage Forest Preserve District. Eric Knighty is the Director of Natural Resource over there. They have a urban stream research center where they're going to help us with funds from Nightcore set up kind of a cane raceway where we'll be able to raise cane genetic mussels with some of the host species and restore them back into cane streams. We'll be meeting with DuPage in a couple weeks to kind of spell out the rest of that intergovernmental agreement, which will come before this board for authorization. But pretty excited about this opportunity. It should result in some endangered mussels and some common mussels coming back. The slipper shell mussel is one we haven't quite cracked the code on how to rear that in-house. This money will go a long way towards the research and hopefully the rearing of that mussel. So, and then I didn't know if anybody from Nightcore wanted to say something. I'm sorry, I failed to mention that the amount for the slipper shell mussel is $100,000, and Nightcore is presenting that check right now.
Thanks, sir. Good morning. Thank you for having us today. I'd like to just tell you briefly about Nightcore Gas and its commitment to the communities we serve. Nightcore Gas is the largest natural gas distributor in the state of Illinois, with 2.2 million residential customers and more than 650 communities right here in Kane County. And for more than 160 years, Nightcore Gas and its legacy companies have provided clean, safe, and reliable and affordable natural gas to the families and businesses in northern Illinois. A lot has changed over those years, and we continue to modernize our pipelines, and we want to continue to be good stewards of the environment that we share together. Before we began our pipeline replacement project in the area, we worked with the Forest Preserve District of Kane County to study the area and understand how our work would impact the native trees, the wetlands, and other natural resources. Which brings me to why we are here today. We're proud to partner with the district to protect the valuable natural resources and help maintain the unparalleled natural beauty of the preserves. And today we'd like to present the Forest Preserve District of Kane County with a $100,000 donation to help fund the ongoing research and preservation of the endangered slipper shell mussels. We are committed to taking the precautions and safety measures while we work in sensitive areas to minimize the impact of our work. So again, thank you, and we're proud to be able to partner in this way.
Ben?
Over this way.
I just want
Good.
Ben, just before you leave, there are two components to this project, one of which will be coordinated directly by Nightcore, and the value of that is?
That's $150,000. They're working with their contractor, Applied Ecological Service. Bill Stoll from AES is here. That's going to be, it's separate from this, but it's going to be on Forest Preserve District property, so the northern end of Burnage Forest Preserve will be doing a kind of a pothole mitigation with habitat for turtles and birds.
I just want everybody to understand that. So it was $150,000 for the work they're doing directly, and then the $100,000 donation today, which will directly go to the mussel project. So $250,000 total for the project. So thank you very much. This is extremely important to us, and we're looking forward to the outcome of this project.
This is a fine example of public-private partnerships to make where we live a better place, and we appreciate their help. And we'll move down to bids and proposals. 2574, resolution accepting a bid to purchase seed for use by the Natural Resource Department for natural areas restoration. Have that, Ellen? Lovely pet, right Becky, second. Our little energizer bunny. For those of you who don't know, her part-time job is making flowers grow at Dundee. She runs off. She just loves to plant flowers. So this is perfect. Any discussion on this? Are you ready to vote then? Okay.
Allen? Aye. Audrey? Yes. Guerrero? Yes. Vidal?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Frost?
Yes.
Gillum?
Yes.
Hernandez? Yes. O'Shea?
Yes.
Ishmael?
Yes.
Lazare?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Lutz? Martin?
Yes.
Molina? Sanchez?
Yes.
Silva? Yes. Smith?
Yes.
Sterrett? Yes. Thomas? Yes. Benega?
Yes.
Motion's approved. 2575, resolution accepting a bid from Central Tree LLC for tree and brush removal at the Dick Young Forest Preserve. Mr. Oshide knows, and all right, let Kurt Kachara accept it. Is there any need for discussion on this? accepting a bid for the removal of structures and debris at the Mill Creek Greenway Forest Reserve. That's got to be far running through. That's where we're building the Natural Resource Center. They're removing some old houses and some brush around the area. Do we need to discuss this? We're ready to go.
Allen. Aye. Audrey. Yes. Guerrero. Yes. Dow.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Dillon. Yes. Hernandez. Yes. Bochet.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Sark.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Yes. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva. Yes. Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett. Yes. Thomas. Yes. Rankin.
Motion is approved. Number 2577, resolution authorizing a proposal as change order number 4 for Martin Design for architectural service for the remaining improvements for Settlers Hill Golf Course improvement. Mr. Davis, would you move that?
I would move that.
No. What? I saw her. Okay. Margaret May, would you second? Is there any discussion on this? Any explanation? None needed? All in favor, vote, roll call.
Allen. Aye. Audrey. Yes. Guerrero. Yes. Dow.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Dillon. Yes. Hernandez. Yes. Bochet.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Nazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Yes. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva. Yes. Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett. Yes. Thomas. Yes. Rankin. Yes.
Motion's approved. Under business, 2578, resolution authorizing the fiscal year 2018-19 estimated budget for the purchase of establishing a 2017 tax levy. Mr. Davis, would you lead us? Oh, you would make the motion,
I would be happy to make
and
that.
then Debbie Allen seconds. And would you lead us in discussion?
Is there a question from anybody first, or starting place, or?
Can you explain why you go with what is going on because of the tax rate is going down?
That's an excellent question.
Sometimes you're just-
Yes, the change in our debt service is dramatic, and while our cost of doing business has gone up, and we are trying to recognize that by appropriately levying for it, it is very small compared to, that's less than, less than $250,000, which we'll try to offset, but the difference in our debt service is measured in millions of dollars. As a result, each portion of the property tax bill that they'll receive from the district will go down significantly.
Any other questions? Understand? I would report to you that this last week we had 2 longtime employees announced that they were going to move to another organization where they can make more money. But it was a senior ranger and a senior police officer, so it's pretty hard for us to keep up with what everybody else is paying. But if we want to keep good forest reserves, we have to keep up. We have to find people and they need to be compensated. They don't need to work enough. They're great people, and it's our job to provide the money to do this. Okay, we're ready to vote. We're going to talk. Ready to vote.
Allen. Aye. Audrey. Yes. Guerrero. Yes. Dow.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Dillon. Yes. Hernandez. Yes. Bochet.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Nazari.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Yes. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva. Yes. Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett. Yes. Thomas. Yes. Rankin. Yes.
Motion's approved. Thank you. Under Cedars Hill Cross Country Event Center. Mr. Martin, would you like to go that? Mr. Martin, second by Mr. Leonard. Is there a need for explanation? You want to talk about it?
I'll say at the time of voting that this is a management agreement that we've been working on for a long time. It substantially relieves the forces of day-to-day maintenance responsibilities that are assumed by the Arts Association. They're a very competent, experienced group in doing this, and I think it's a great deal for the forces and for this project as a whole.
Again, can we give an update?
Well, I'll ask Mark to give a little bit of an update. How this all started?
Well, I can tell you that we've been working with the county on the two projects together, which is not only the cross-country, but also looking at the golf course driving range. So Ken Anderson's been leading that on the county side, along with Commissioner Martin, and they are now accepting soil from outside sources, clean fill, to be able to start sculpting the track and the improvements up on the hill. So the plan is for that to be open the fall of 2019 in preparation for the cross-country season at that time. Coinciding with that is our project with the driving range, and we're working with Greg Martin to be able to have our bid documents out shortly. And our plan is also to be able to have our driving range up and running at the same time while we continue to work with him on the improvements to the course layout, which is what you approved today. So the nice thing about this agreement, like Commissioner Martin was saying, was it's going to be a 10.5-year agreement, which will have some financial component to it, but we have been able to minimize our liability and responsibility on the site. We will work to have it open daily. There'll be a small parking lot behind the soccer complex. And so we'll take care of that parking lot and manage the public use of that on a daily basis. And then the Chicago Area Track and Field Organizing Committee will be focused on bringing in not only local but regional and hopefully at some point national cross-country events. We'll maintain or retain the rights for the naming sponsorship on the site. They'll be able to have all the other event sponsors. For the first 5 years, we will not be receiving any compensation. However, again, our liability and maintenance has been greatly reduced. After 5 years, when we enter the 6th year, we'll receive a $3,000 a year base fee, but we'll be receiving 5% of any gross revenues that they take in on the property, and once again, still be retaining the naming right sponsorship. So as we grow with the organization and the events grow and we negotiate our next agreement after 10 years, we'll be looking at a larger financial impact or benefit to the district.
Any questions, Drew?
Monica touched on it, but we did find out that this week the fill operation has started up. So the private contractor we cut the deal with to bring in fill and compensate us for that. We're moving from theory to actual physical work being done this week.
Mr. Barr?
Just to build on one point that Monica raised, the importance is that not only are we going to have a premier facility here relative to the conduct of cross-country events, but with the exception of roughly 12 Saturday mornings between September and the end of the cross-country season, this is going to be available for hiking, for there'll be a floating concrete platform on top for viewing, picnics, family activities. And so it really becomes a county-wide amenity. If you've not been to a mountain, which it's hard to imagine, but when you do it on top, it's we're in Illinois. You can see Chicago. You can see Chicago. You can see Burlington. You can see Burlington. You can see Burlington.
I know the timeline for revenue is a ways out, but is there an opportunity for some of that to come back to the county?
Well, the negotiations that took place between us and the county was taking the fill revenue and trying to offset some of their costs. We will have maintenance expenditures, so we'll have the liability on the Forest Preserve side for repair, annual type of larger scale maintenance. So considering you're talking $3,000 and 5% of gross, it's really not that much funding, and more than likely the district will have to at some point start offsetting some of the maintenance costs.
Any more questions? Ready to vote? Okay.
Allen. Aye. Auger. Yes. Guerrero. Yes. Dahl.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Nazar.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva. Yes. Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
The agreement is approved. Another under 2580, resolution authorizing an agreement with Region 5 Association of Snowmobile Clubs. Mr. Dahl, Mr. Smith. So this is another deal where we're partnering with a private group, and they are so helpful, especially in the wintertime, that they help police and they help rescue people on the roads when it goes down the warriors when we have snow out west. But this is just another example of partnering with another organization. Are we ready to vote? All right.
Allen. Aye. Auger.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Nazara.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
So motion's approved. Under land acquisition 2581, resolution authorizing the acquisition of lands by purchase or eminent domain of property in Big Rock Township. Mr. Leonard moves. Mr. Frost seconds. This is about approximately 80 acres. It's got an original historic oak grove. Something in our lifetime, we couldn't plant on that road. They're over 100 years old. I'm so glad we're going to be able to save this, and there's a picnic area there already. It's going to be pretty nice. It's over almost 80 acres total. Ready to go?
Allen. Aye. Auger.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Nazara.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Motion's approved. 2582, resolution authorizing the acquisition of land by purchase or eminent domain in Plato Township. Barbara moves. Mr. Smith seconds. This is adjacent to our rearhead Fort Reserve, so we're just adding extra acres. Ready to go?
Allen. Aye. Auger.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Frost. Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes. Yes.
Nazara.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin. Molina.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Motion's approved. Number 2583, resolution authorizing the sale of Forest District property in Dundee Township. Maggie Auger moves, Becky Gilmo second. This is a very small piece of property that, for what we do, we have no use for, and a neighbor is wants to buy it. They'll be able to bid on it and put it back in the economy where it should be. Any questions? We're ready.
Allen. Aye. Auger.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Frost.
Yes.
Gillum.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Ishmael.
Yes.
Nazara.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina. Sanchez.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Sterrett.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
It's approved. expand the size of our Ford Reserve. And I appreciate that. And it's almost, we got some more purchases to make. We're going to be pretty excited for Kane County. For reports, there's a motion to put the reports on file. Susan Starrett moves, second by